Your Big 550 KTRS. Our next guests, well, they're like Matt Damon. They were held over to the next hour. In terms of full disclosure, Matt Casas is a good guy. The other one, Matt Brinkman, is with Great Rivers Greenway. And, Matt, how does this work? I sit on the board, and you're an employee for Great Rivers Greenway.
Correct.
So I'm like over you, is that right? Or I have some...
Okay, I'll let you think that if you want.
Well, I mean, you clearly know infinitely more than I'll ever know. You've forgotten more than I'll ever know. But I sit on the board that regulates, I guess, or approves or whatever else. Yeah. I don't want people to yell at me. I want it to be terms of full disclosure. Martin Cassis, I have no control over you.
That's right. No one does.
There you go. Your wife might disagree with that. But
yeah.
All right, you guys are here to talk about what? What's going on?
So Matt and I with Great Rivers Greenway, and I'm with the St. Louis Swap Meet, we are teaming up to bring some new life down to the riverfront.
Right.
They did a great job of rehabbing the arch.
Talk right in the microphone.
Oh, yes. They've done a great job of rehabbing the arch grounds and cleaning it up. And we're trying to add a new dimension to it by bringing the Swap Meet from Cherokee Street down to the riverfront. This is our second time being back there, actually.
Right. Okay, so the Swap Meet is going to be when?
The Swap Meet is the first and last Sunday of every month on Cherokee Street.
Right.
The Riverfront Marketplace is the third weekend of every month, Saturday and Sunday, on Lenore K. Sullivan, right under the arch.
Before we get to that, what is the Swap Meet for people who don't know?
So, I'm from California originally, and the Swap Meet is a place where you can buy everything and anything. You can get food, you can get new clothes, you can get used clothes, you can get furniture.
Is it like a flea market?
It is. But in California, we call them Swap Meets. So
Okay.
that's like what I know. And I hate the term flea market.
Okay, because George Costanza thinks you get fleas at the flea market.
Yeah. You may get them at the Swap Meet. I don't know. I can't verify that. You will not get fleas at the Swap Meet. But so it's really just an eclectic mix of anything and everything people want to get. And the best thing about it is that St. Louis is going through this great entrepreneurial renaissance right now. We have a lot of people making really great products, starting really great businesses. So we want to feature them, and we want them to know that if they have a product that they want to get out in front of customers to see how people react to it.
So it's a new widget, it's a new this, you like to paint, you like to whittle, you like to do whatever, bring your wares down, open up a tent, and you're at the Swap Meet.
Exactly right.
Now, you've started this, right?
Yeah.
How long ago?
Last year was our first year.
And so how's it going?
It's going great. Look, we started off inside the Lemp Brewery in this rock lot.
Right.
And the first week in there, we had over 15,000 people show up, which was crazy.
Really?
It was actually kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
And what we did is that we decided that, look, there's 22 operating farmers markets on Saturdays. So what we're going to do is we want to give extra business to these small businesses. So we're going to open on Sundays. So by doing that, we were the only game in town.
Right.
So we're the only Sunday market open.
Gotcha.
All right.
Fun. So how much does it cost to go to the Swap Meet?
It's totally free.
Totally free. How much is it to have a booth at the Swap Meet?
$40.
$40.
That's it.
Pretty good deal. Okay, now let's talk about the arch, because you're at Cherokee Street on what days?
First and last Sundays of the month.
And the third Sunday, we're at the
Saturday and Sunday.
Third Saturday and Sunday, we're at the Arch, which is where Matt Brinkman comes in. Matt,
Yeah.
The Arch is under complete renovation. However, you guys have opened up at least the first phase, right?
Yeah, the riverfront is part of the whole City Arch River project, so we reopened that in June after a 2-year reconstruction of basically Leonore K. Sullivan Boulevard down there along the old wharf.
Right.
But we knew that we couldn't just open it and expect people to show up. We've been looking for events and things to draw people down there and program it with a lot of activity. So I was familiar with the Swap Meets, having been to a couple of the ones down there in Cherokee.
Right.
So Martin seemed like the perfect guy to talk to because he runs a quality event, and it seemed like it'd be a lot of fun to have down there. So
Great Rivers Greenway reached out to him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, that was built. Now, for those who haven't been down there, the Great Rivers Greenway and everybody else sort of retrofitted it so there's plenty of lights and internet and plugs so that it can actually house things like this.
Yeah, it was definitely reconstructed with events in mind along the promenade, as we call it, there down on the wharf. So there's a lot of electrical capacity. There's a lot of new, amenities for things just like this. So it's a perfect fit.
How hard is it to get to Lenore K. Sullivan Boulevard, considering all the construction going on?
There's plenty of parking nearby. You can actually parking right downtown is the closest at the Stadium East Garage. It's a quick walk down there via the path that goes past the old cathedral.
Right.
There's also parking available on the landing, and depending on where the river is, you can park right down there on the levee as well and be right next to it.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of cool. Like being from California before, like you can actually park and like Mississippi's right there.
Right.
Yeah.
You can drop your keys in the Mississippi.
So how many people do you have? How many people have tents at the swap meet now?
So on Cherokee Street, we average about right now in the middle of the summer, we're about down to 40, but in this fall and spring, we're up to 75. So on the riverfront, we only have 40 vendors though down there because
you only have room for 40 vendors?
No, I mean we could probably do 100.
Oh, I was going to say you got plenty of room.
I think what we're trying to do now is just test it out and see how people are going to take to it. And I think the first weekend was a great success. I mean, the crowd from people visiting the Arch every weekend is enormous. I mean, it's like 6,000 or 7,000 people, and on top of the people we bring down, adds a great element.
Yeah, Matt, what else is going on at the Arch, and when's the next phase to open up?
Parts of the grounds will be opening in October, the Arch grounds themselves. So that's some of the pathways, and particularly what they call the North Gateway area, which is where the parking garage used to be along Eads Bridge there. Yeah. There's a dramatic difference in how that area is going to look, a lot more green space. So that's going to be really cool. That'll be opening in October. And then the rest of the landscape and just various phases between now and next spring as far as the grass and the landscaping and the rest of the pathways and everything.
We know that the Harry Weber statue was placed right by the swap meet, right?
Which one's that?
Yeah, the Captain's Return, the statue of Lewis and Clark is now up on the sidewalk, so it no longer serves as a depth gauge during floods.
Well, there was some talk of putting it in that garden where the old parking lot was, right?
Yes.
Right, but it's now back on the river.
It is right there on the riverfront on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Whose idea was it to put it in the river?
That is a very good question.
I think I can answer that
because
we've had Harry Weber on the show. Supposedly, the person who commissioned it decided to put it there until a better place was found.
Oh.
So they built it in mind with it going there.
I get the idea. It looks good because it looks like you're coming out of the water, so it fits. But then, it's always flooded. So.
Well, right. But the one time every 6 years where the water level's perfect, it looks like they're landing on the water.
The message is St. Louis drowning in success.
Yes. We should say that there was some damage due to the flooding down there, right, this fall, but we muddled through it and got it going, right?
Yeah, last winter when we had the major flooding, there was some damage done to the east slopes, which did delay things a little bit. So that's one reason why they are not fully opening in October along with everything else.
But that was built. It was hurt because it wasn't finished. It was built to handle all the flooding.
Exactly. The vegetation and everything they've planted is designed specifically to prevent any damage in the future. It just wasn't ready yet.
Yeah. Is it true that every single cobblestone had to be picked up, marked, and put back in its exact place?
Not quite all of them, but many of them, were reused as part of the new project. So it's kind of cool. It still has that historic element to it.
Yeah, it is really neat.
They were put back in the exact place? Or no?
Not maybe exact. But.
Wow.
Well, not the, there was a millimeter off, but you get the idea.
That's impressive.
All right, so what do we need to know about the swap meet at the St. Louis Arch Grounds?
We got over 40 great vendors going to be down there this weekend. We got a beer garden by Urban Chestnut. We'll have 2 food trucks, and we have some fashion trucks down there as well. It's open on Saturday from 10 to 3 and Sunday at the same time.
Matt, what do we need to know about Great Rivers Greenway and the Arch and everything else?
Well, this gives you a perfect opportunity to come by and see the new riverfront and what's going on down there, and check on the construction of the Arch Museum and all that's going on there. That's going to be just a huge dramatic thing when it opens next year.
Right, and I know they don't call it the lid anymore, but that park over the Highway 70 is also finished.
Yes, you can't actually walk across it yet until the museum is ready, but you can certainly see it, and it really dramatically improves the view between the courthouse and the Arch.
And then you're also now, I know Keener Plaza is all cut up and everything else, so that's well on its way too.
Part of that project as well that'll be reopening next spring.
Matt Brinkman with Great Rivers Greenway and Martin Cassis with the St. Louis Swap Meet. Is there a website to find out more?
STLSwapmeet.com or on Facebook and Twitter.
And to find out all the great work that Great Rivers Greenway does, Matt, what's the website there?
GreatRiversGreenway.org.
Gentlemen, Matt, Martin, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
919, Big 550, KTRS.